It started like any normal flight. A Boeing 777 departing Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. Everything seemed routine, calm. But by 0041, the first unusual sign appeared. The transponder disappeared from civilian radar, a silent, invisible ghost in the night. Air traffic controllers assumed it was a technical glitch. Pilots lose contact occasionally, yet the plane did not reappear. It had vanished completely, leaving hundreds of passengers and crew without explanation. Within hours, Malaysia Airlines confirmed the aircraft was missing. Panic spread among families, confusion in the media. How could a modern plane with hundreds of people simply disappear? The first searches focused near Malaysian airspace. Ships, planes, and satellite teams combed the area, but nothing was found. No wreckage, no signal. It was as if the aircraft had evaporated.
Then investigators noticed the first overlooked clue, a deviation from the planned flight path. The plane had turned west, heading back over the Malay Peninsula. This wasn't random. Someone or something made a deliberate decision.
Radar data revealed the aircraft had flown along the edge of radar coverage, a precise, calculated route that minimized detection. This was no ordinary malfunction. It suggested knowledge of radar blind spots. Satellite handshakes later confirmed the plane continued flying for hours after it disappeared from radar. These signals were not messages, just automated pings, heartbeat-like confirmations that the aircraft still existed. Analysis of these pings revealed the second overlooked clue, the plane's southward trajectory toward the Indian Ocean. It had not diverted to any nearby airport, even though fuel allowed for emergency landing. The choice of flight path suggested either extreme skill, deliberate human control, or an extraordinary coincidence. A plane flying hundreds of miles off course without reason is almost impossible. As the hours passed, communication attempts failed. The cockpit was silent. Air traffic control could only watch the blips fade from military radar. A perfect ghost flight in the modern era. Families waited, phones ringing unanswered. Media speculated, terrorism, pilot suicide, mechanical failure. All explanations seemed plausible, yet none fully fit the evidence. Searches expanded to the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most remote and harsh areas on the planet. Strong currents, deep water, and no visibility below the surface made recovery almost impossible. One small piece of wreckage eventually washed ashore on Reunion Island, a flaperon. It confirmed the plane had crashed, but revealed nothing about why it flew south or what happened on board. Investigators combined satellite data, ocean drift models, and the flaperon's location to create a probable final corridor, the seventh arc. This narrowed the search area, but still left hundreds of miles of ocean to comb. The third overlooked clue lay in the satellite data itself. The Doppler shifts in the pings allowed analysts to estimate the plane's speed and heading, confirming the automated southern trajectory. This revealed a chilling sequence, deliberate initial turns, followed by hours of autopilot flight, likely after the crew had been incapacitated. Human action combined with automation explained the path perfectly. Hypoxia, a lack of oxygen, could have rendered everyone unconscious. Pilots, passengers, even cabin crew, unable to respond. The plane continued south, obedient to autopilot alone. The final descent, fueled by exhaustion, led to a catastrophic impact in the remote ocean. Fragments floated to shore, but the main wreckage sank, lost beneath miles of water and silt. Investigators examined the captain's flight simulator and found a route resembling the plane's final path. While it raised questions, there was no definitive proof of intent or malicious action. Multiple theories persisted: deliberate depressurization, hijacking, mechanical failure, or pilot error. No single scenario explained all anomalies completely. The three overlooked clues, initial westward turn, radar-hugging route, and satellite handshakes, were the key to reconstructing MH370's final hours. Each piece confirmed deliberate initial action and subsequent automated continuation. The ghost flight crossed hundreds of miles of ocean. Civilian radar saw nothing. Military radar only glimpsed brief contacts. The world remained unaware of the aircraft's fate for hours. As the plane flew south, families waited desperately for news. Governments coordinated massive search operations, yet the mystery deepened with every hour. The remote Indian Ocean claimed its prey. Unforgiving currents, deep trenches, and stormy conditions prevented any immediate recovery of wreckage or black boxes. When the flaperon was confirmed as MH370, the search strategy changed. Oceanographers and engineers modeled debris drift to narrow down the crash area, but uncertainty remained enormous. Satellite and ocean data indicated a violent descent. The plane likely remained on autopilot until fuel exhaustion, entering a spiral dive that destroyed it upon impact. Speculation about pilot actions continued. Experts debated whether the initial turns were intentional, coerced, or accidental. Each theory carried its own implications and risks. Families, investigators, and the global public struggled with the lack of answers. MH370 was unlike any previous aviation disappearance. Technology had failed to provide clarity. Search efforts spanned years and billions of dollars. Even private companies joined, using advanced sonar and AI analysis. Yet the main wreckage remained elusive. The mystery of MH370 endures. The three overlooked clues allowed reconstruction, but the motive, initial decisions, and final moments remain lost beneath the Indian Ocean. This ghost flight serves as a stark reminder. Even in a modern, connected world, human and mechanical systems can fail in terrifying, inexplicable ways.
Even after years of investigation, the plane's disappearance remains one of aviation history's most confounding mysteries. Each clue uncovered only deepened the questions about intent and circumstance.
Specialized teams analyzed satellite data, weather conditions, and ocean currents, trying to reconstruct the final flight path. Every calculation confirmed the plane had gone far off any planned route. The psychological profiles of the pilots were scrutinized. Experts looked for signs of distress, motive, or unusual behavior. Nothing definitive emerged, only speculation and concern. Meanwhile, families waited anxiously for news. Media coverage created waves of hope and despair. Every sighting, every unconfirmed signal reignited their hopes, only to crush them again. The debris found along distant shores provided fragments of confirmation, but no answers. Each piece of wreckage sparked renewed debate among investigators and aviation analysts.
New technologies were deployed: sonar mapping, deep-sea drones, and AI-driven image analysis. Yet the vastness of the Indian Ocean and the depth of the wreckage posed nearly insurmountable challenges. The possibility of hypoxia became a central theory. Cabin depressurization could have incapacitated the crew and passengers, leaving the autopilot to guide the plane until fuel exhaustion. Flight simulator data from the captain's home computer showed exercises in remote flight routes. While suggestive, these exercises did not provide conclusive proof of intent or foul play. International investigations coordinated extensively, but the lack of concrete evidence meant that no single theory could be confirmed. MH370 remained an enigma, haunting aviation communities worldwide. Reconstruction of the flight path using satellite pings created the seventh arc, indicating where the plane most likely ran out of fuel and crashed. But the exact location remained elusive. Environmental conditions complicated the search. Strong currents, shifting debris fields, and deep trenches meant that any wreckage could have moved hundreds of miles from the crash site. Investigators noted the precision of the plane's early deviations. The westward turn and subsequent trajectory along radar blind spots suggested deliberate, skilled navigation. The absence of emergency signals or communications during this deviation reinforced the theory that the crew might have been incapacitated or otherwise unable to act. Despite exhaustive analysis, no distress calls were recorded. The plane seemed to vanish intentionally or by circumstance into the night sky, leaving only automated satellite pings as evidence. Some experts proposed hijacking scenarios, while others suggested pilot suicide or mechanical failure. Each theory had proponents and critics, but none explained all anomalies. The Indian Ocean, vast and deep, claimed the aircraft. Debris drifted, fragments reached distant shores, but the main wreckage remained submerged, hidden beneath thousands of meters of water.
Search and recovery efforts became one of the largest in history, involving multiple nations, private contractors, and sophisticated equipment. Yet, despite the scale, the mystery persisted.
Families continued to grieve, clinging to hope that someday answers would emerge. Investigators remained dedicated, combing data, analyzing patterns, and testing every plausible scenario. As technology advanced, new satellite imagery and deep-sea scanning offered small glimmers of hope. But the Indian Ocean is merciless. Even the best tools struggled to locate the submerged wreckage. The human cost of the disappearance was immense. 239 passengers and crew lost, countless families affected, and an aviation industry forced to confront the limits of modern tracking and safety systems. Through it all, the three overlooked clues, initial westward turn, radar-hugging route, and satellite handshakes, became the key to reconstructing the flight, though they still did not explain motive or final events. Investigators noted a chilling pattern: deliberate initial actions followed by hours of unmanned autopilot flight. Human agency gave way to mechanical obedience, yet questions remained about why. Debate continues among aviation experts. Was it pilot error, intentional action, or a catastrophic failure? Each theory examines fragments of evidence, but none tell the complete story. The mystery of MH370 reminds us of the fragility of life and technology. Even sophisticated systems can fail, and even the most monitored skies can hide secrets. The story continues to fascinate and haunt. Documentaries, simulations, and reconstructions attempt to give sense to the incomprehensible, but the ocean keeps its secret. Every new analysis, every piece of drifted debris, every satellite ping contributes to understanding, yet full clarity remains beyond reach, locked beneath the waves. Lessons were learned. The importance of satellite tracking, emergency protocols, and international coordination. Still, MH370 serves as a cautionary tale of unknown risks. The three overlooked clues guided investigators closer to reconstructing the flight. Without them, the disappearance might have remained entirely untraceable. Today, MH370 is remembered as a ghost flight, a plane that vanished from human eyes, leaving only data, fragments, and a trail of unanswered questions. Each theory tells a story. Each clue is a piece of the puzzle. Yet, the final chapter is unwritten. The ocean holds the ultimate truth, silent and eternal. The world has seen aviation disappearances before, but none so complete. MH370 became a symbol of uncertainty in an era of technological certainty. Families continue to seek closure. Investigators continue to analyze. Aviation authorities update protocols. Yet the ghost flight remains, a mystery suspended in time. Even now, satellite pings, radar anomalies, and debris locations provide fragments of truth. They hint at the plane's final path, but not the reason behind it. MH370's disappearance challenges our assumptions about safety, surveillance, and human error. It's a stark reminder of how little we can control in extreme circumstances. The three overlooked clues continue to inform theories, shape reconstructions, and provide context for a tragedy that defies simple explanation. Every reconstruction brings us closer to understanding, yet the final moments remain unknown. The flight path is mapped, but the story behind it remains a shadow. Debates persist. Autopilot theory, hypoxia, intentional acts, or mechanical failure. Each scenario is plausible, but none can be confirmed beyond doubt. The Indian Ocean remains vast and deep. The final resting place of MH370 may never be fully recovered. Only fragments testify to the aircraft's existence. MH370's legacy extends beyond the missing plane. It has changed aviation safety, tracking, and international cooperation forever. Researchers, engineers, and families all continue to grapple with questions that may never have definitive answers. The ghost flight remains both lesson and warning. As technology advances, so does hope. Satellites, deep-sea exploration, and AI may eventually illuminate the ocean floor, revealing truths hidden for over a decade. The disappearance reminds us that even the most sophisticated systems cannot prevent every disaster. Nature, chance, and human error remain potent forces. MH370 also highlights human resilience, investigators persisting despite limited evidence, families searching for closure, the global community learning from tragedy. Every clue uncovered, no matter how small, sheds light on the flight. Initial deviations, radar paths, and satellite pings reveal a narrative of precision, mystery, and loss. Even without all answers, reconstructing the flight path gives perspective. Analysts can trace where and how the plane traveled, reconstructing the ghost flight with startling accuracy. Yet the why remains unanswered. Human intention, mechanical failure, or accidental circumstances, the core mystery persists, silent beneath the waves.
The ghost flight continues to inspire speculation, documentaries, books, and media. Its story resonates as one of the great unsolved aviation mysteries.
Each investigation, each theory, contributes pieces to a puzzle that may never be completed. MH370 challenges us to confront uncertainty in an era that craves certainty. Families remember the lost. Investigators remember the challenge. The aviation industry remembers the lessons. The world remembers the mystery. The plane's final path from Kuala Lumpur to the remote southern Indian Ocean is a testament to both human ingenuity and human vulnerability. The three overlooked clues remain crucial: westward turn, radar-hugging route, satellite handshakes. Without them, the flight's reconstruction would have been impossible. As years pass, the mystery does not fade. New technologies may reveal more, but the human stories, the unanswered questions, and the ghost flight endure. MH370 reminds us that even in a connected technological world, mystery can still exist. Some events cannot be fully explained, only traced and imagined. The story of MH370 is one of disappearance, resilience, and a relentless search for truth. It is as much about those who investigate as it is about those who vanished. From the first westward turn to the final resting place in the Indian Ocean, every action, signal, and fragment tells part of the story, yet leaves the ultimate question unanswered. The ghost flight remains a powerful reminder of the unknown. Even in the era of advanced aviation technology, some mysteries cannot be fully solved. Investigators continue to analyze, families continue to grieve, and the world continues to wonder. MH370 has become more than a missing plane. It is a symbol. It is a symbol of uncertainty, of human limitation, of the unpredictable forces that can override even the most sophisticated systems. And as long as the Indian Ocean keeps its secrets, MH370 will remain the ultimate ghost flight, remembered, studied, and mourned, yet never fully explained.